Hi, party people. It's your Uncle Ed. I am here. I have a super, super, super special guest today. I've known this man for many, many years. This guy has been just on top of his game ever since I said hello and met him for the first time. This is a guy that does not sleep. He's always on his game. And what's more important is that he always puts you, his client, always first. And because of that, he's been extremely successful in real estate. So here he is in the flesh, Mr. Rommel. Yema, how you doing, man? In his car, as always, because the guy I told you, he doesn't sleep. I think he sleeps in his car, but don't tell him. How you doing
Thank
today,
you for the
man?
wonderful introduction, Ed. Thank you
Oh
so
man,
much.
hey, look, it's only truth. That's it. Ever
That's
since I've known you, we've known each other, dude. I
oh
think
man.
north of 15 years,
Yeah, we're at least 2013.
at
Yeah.
least 2013. Okay,
'Cause
all right. So
that's
yeah,
yeah.
maybe 12. Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been well, in real estate, we're kind of like dog years, right? It's 7 years for every 1 year. It does age us. Real estate has aged us all.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. We gotta stay young as in the heart.
No, for sure. And you do a better job of staying young than I do, man. So congrats to you, man. Look at that skin.
Right on,
We'll,
right
we'll
on.
get your tips on how to keep your skin nice and hydrated and wrinkle free here in a minute.
Oh, for
But
sure.
thank you again for showing up, man. I know that you're a super busy guy, but I wanted to kind of chop up what is going on out there when it comes to real estate. I know that, as the old joke is, it's almost like Karate Kid, tariffs on, tariffs off, wax on,
Yeah.
wax off. We don't know if
Yeah.
it's just a threat to be able to negotiate or if they're going to be imposed. And then if they are imposed, for how long. But we do know that for the most part, tariffs are inflationary. We have been seeing rates go down. Today, unfortunately, Monday, the
Yep.
24th, rates are up a bit, and you'll see that with the stock market rallying. Typically, when the stock market rallies up, rates go up with it. And so particularly the 10-year treasury is up. It's at
Right.
4.31 right now. For a second, it went down below 4.2. We were all super happy, but at the end of the day, here's the truth. The last 30 to 40 years, if you look at the average rate on a 30-year mortgage, we're not talking about 2020 because that was a subsidy by the government. And that's why we saw 2.5, 3.5%. But I'm talking about an average in the last 30 to 40 years. It's been between 6 and 7%.
Hmm.
Bingo, here we are, right?
Yep.
But that has a tendency to push the markets up and more activity. Plus, we're in the spring season, and I believe, and you tell me, Ramel, that we typically see more inventory and more activity in the spring.
Oh, definitely. I would say after the end of February, yeah, beginning of March, that's when inventory starts to pop up. The sellers that were testing out their prices from the prior quarter, if they hadn't sold their homes yet, they're definitely coming onto the market.
Yeah, because I was told that for the most part, Ed, the people who are selling right now, because something astronomical like 86% or more of people who have a mortgage below 4%, that if they are selling, it's because they have to, meaning that they've outgrown their current situation, have a brand new child or something, and they have to move out
Yeah,
because that one bedroom is killing them, or because some kind of situation, financial situation, or somebody got sick,
yeah,
those kind of things. Is that true?
definitely. I'm coincidence or not, I'm seeing a lot of that recently. I'm part of the Zillow partnership team on at my office, and a lot of the homes that I'm showing are yeah, it's in that situation where the sellers just wanted to downgrade. Um,
Okay.
Slash move elsewhere. I'm seeing that shift right now.
Interesting. Well, I do know this. This is an interesting statistic to parlay that to, that 10,000 people turn 65 every day in the United States.
Hmm.
So one of the things I'm starting to see is the resurgence of the reverse mortgage. And believe it or not, folks, just want to say this real quick. You can use a reverse mortgage to purchase a home. The reverse purchase is really not talked about a lot, but I think it's a fantastic tool. Now, keep in mind, just like shoe sizes, it's not a one size fits all. It's for particular situations. And that's where I come in as an ex money manager to really customize your strategy to say, does this make sense? Maybe you should consider doing reverse mortgage because you don't want to have that gigantic mortgage payment, right? And you're going to put a
Right.
lot of money down. It might make sense for you. You have to be at least 62 years of age to do that. But if that's something you want to talk about, definitely talk to me and we'll discuss that as part of your strategy. But are
For
you
sure.
seeing the age of your buyers or sellers inching up?
For me at least, they're remaining in their yeah, I would say in their between 40s and 50s for
Between
sellers.
40. Oh, so they're still young.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All
For
right.
my buyers,
Hmm.
they're remaining in their say 30s to 40s.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. So that's interesting that their 40s and 50s are downsizing. What are usually the reasons why they're downsizing? Are they starting businesses? That's an interesting statistic because I thought you were going to say they're in their 60s.
Yeah, there's definitely in that age range. I would say it's probably they probably had their children younger, and so they wanted their kind of empty nesters, and so they needed to just kind of consider moving to out of state, getting closer to their grandchildren, or
Okay.
yeah, um, yeah, they just don't need the space anymore.
Interesting. What are you seeing as good areas of opportunity to get properties, single family residences in the Bay Areas, particularly in the peninsula? Are you still seeing little pockets? Like I've always talked about San Bruno. I always thought San Bruno
Yeah,
was a good buy because it has a tendency to be less expensive than the surrounding, but it's a great city that people overlook.
absolutely. Yeah, I definitely have access to a lot. I'm seeing a lot of San Bruno off markets. Even continuing South San Francisco as well. Um,
Interesting. For those people who don't know off market, what does that mean?
these are not actually considered available to the public market. They're not marked as actual active homes on the market on the multiple listing service.
Okay.
So until that happens, yeah, they're considered off market, aka coming soon.
Okay.
Those sellers typically want to test out the prices of their homes because they're not sure how much they would sell for in the fourth quarter of each year. So
Mm.
that's what I was mentioning earlier, that they're actually the ones that didn't sell are coming onto market in
Oh, that's
beginning of
really
March.
good information to know. So
Yeah.
they're testing it before. Okay. And by the way, guys, the sign of a great agent is an agent also who has these unlisted properties because their network is very, very big. They have other agents that are representing sellers as well that have these properties that they talk to certain agents about. Hey, look, I got this listing coming up. My seller doesn't want people coming in and out of their home on an open house, or they're just testing it, like Rommel just said. And so he has inventory of that type, which is another great reason why to reach out to Rommel because he's got a gigantic network. This guy knows everybody. And because he knows everybody, he knows a lot of agents that have properties that are not on the MLS or multiple listing service that you can go look at and potentially get a really good deal. What are we seeing single family residences versus condos these days, price wise?
Well, yeah, we're now in an age, for example, Daly City. I would say the starting price for a three bedroom, two bath would be around up north of 1.2. You say even 1.3 even.
And that's on a single
Whereas
family?
that is on a single family house versus say for example downtown San Francisco. Um, we're I would bluntly say downtown San Francisco condo market is in the 2017 era where you could get a one bedroom starting at 750K.
No way. Okay,
Yes.
so you guys heard this, right? So
Or
why
below.
are they
Or
so depressed?
I think San Francisco's still going through that cycle of kind of transforming itself as far as the structure of it. Just kind of cleaning it up. It's cleaning up itself.
Yeah, and I think there's a perception still that it's actually still the worst version of itself when in fact it has cleaned up quite a bit. But I think that's priced into the market. Correct me if I'm wrong, that people still think it's just like homeless encampments everywhere and junk everywhere. That's not the case, folks. They've cleaned it up quite a bit. I live here. I know. I see it every single day. Is that a true statement?
I would say yes. Yeah,
Right.
I concur.
What are you seeing as far as average homeowner association dues?
In the peninsula, where I currently live, I would say 5 to 600 on
How about in the
average.
city?
In the city, Depending, so if if it's a luxury building, of course you're looking at into the thousands.
Yeah.
But if it's an HOA with minimal amenities,
Hmm.
600 and up,
Okay. All right.
on
So
the safe side.
still, I guess condos are a great entry point still. Yeah.
For sure,
Especially if your
especially
lifestyle's good for that.
exactly. Yeah, if you're, either single or a newlywed couple wanting to own your first home, then absolutely I would recommend buying a condo, a townhouse, or a loft. And then in 5 years, when you're ready, you could use that as a springboard to sell in order for the
Bingo.
down payment for your first single family house.
Bingo. So by the way, so this is the strategy, right? Get on base. You don't always have to hit home runs, meaning you have to buy a single family residence right off the bat. And if you can't, then you just keep renting. Don't do that. Get yourself a condo, use it, as Rommel said, as a springboard to then purchase in the near future your your single family residence. Because otherwise, think about this. I'm sure all of you who are renting right now, if you look at your gross and your net paycheck where you work, you're probably not that happy. Why? Because you don't have tax deductions. When you own, you're going to write off the mortgage interest and up to $10,000 of property taxes. It makes all the difference in your finances. And number two, you're building equity while you're sleeping, cooking, bathing in it. There is no other investment like that. So build something that you can use as a springboard to then build what is your dream home, or if even if it's not your forever home, your very long-term home. But get on base. We always say get on base. We like to use the baseball analogy, but get on base. You don't have to hit a home run, and then that way you get a chance to come in and score. Right?
Exactly. Absolutely.
What's one of the sayings? It's marry the property and date the rate.
Date
Look,
the rate, marry the property.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
because the reality is that rates most likely are going to continue to come down. Is it going to be in a linear fashion? No. It's a roller coaster, folks, but they will come down and you'll refinance later. But at least you have something to refinance, something that's already paid you in the by way of tax deductions and equity. Whereas if you just rent, not really going to happen. The average renter in the United States, by the way, has a net worth of 9 grand. Guess what? A homeowner, 400,000 in the whole country. We've created more equity, over $1 trillion than ever.
Hmm.
Prices are continuing to go up, even though rates went up. I mean, rates went up almost 8%. Remember, Ramel?
Yeah.
And people were still buying. By the way, in 1981, go do your math and your research. Go look at the numbers. It peaked at 21% and then it went down to 13%. People were having parties on the streets going free money at 13%.
It's
And now we're complaining at, 6.5, 6.75. But
all
don't
perspective.
let the bus leave the station.
Absolutely.
What are some good tips if you're even contemplating buying a house today?
I would say number one, speak to you. You as the mortgage lender, see what loan programs are there for you to qualify. As a buyer, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised that, for example, you could downright purchase a home with 5% down.
Yeah, and sometimes even no money down. I have some programs, including one that includes solar, of all things, and you own the actual solar equipment.
Hmm.
It's there's so many. Here's what happens when times get difficult. Lenders get more creative because they want to stay in business, right? They don't want to fall to the wayside. So you start to see more down payment assistance programs. But here's the thing that I know: if you let emotions run your life, you're probably not going to achieve much. But if you let the numbers, because numbers don't lie, run it, it's like having a budget, right? Then don't be surprised if you have a lot of successes along the way. But you got to know your numbers, which is what Romel's saying. And whether it's with me, of course, I would love that. But even if it's not with me, talk with your mortgage person, get a fully underwritten approval, find out what your maximum payment and purchase price is, not based on what you think, because you can't compare a rental payment to a mortgage payment. Why? Because rent has no tax deduction. So it's apples and oranges. A
Hmm.
mortgage, the first 7 to 8 years is pretty much all interest. So your tax write offs are very huge. But know your numbers. What is your maximum purchase price? What else in parting, Ramel? Do you want to tell us about this market now?
This is the time.
Yeah.
This is the year to pursue your dream. If your dream is to own real estate, let's do it.
Yeah, I agree. And get yourself a really great team. That's the thing. When you get a Rommel on your side,
And an
you're going
Ed.
to get a house. No, seriously. I've seen this man operate for many, many years. Reach out to him. How do people get a hold of you, Rommel?
Uh, Best way is to text or call me. I'm old school like that. Yeah, I
What's your
my
number?
650-291-4607.
There you go. And it even includes Starbucks. Look, he'll get you a, what is that? A frappuccino. Oh, it's a coffee. Thought it was a frap.
Espresso. Yeah, let's
There you
meet at
go.
Starbucks.
It includes a free espresso. So give him a call today. Send him out. You can see the guy he's a wealth of information. He's not salesy. He's not going to hammer you. You're not going to enroll into Amway or nothing like that. He's going to give you some really great advice and going to show you for your particular situation exactly what the opportunities are. Thank you so much, Rommel. As always, man,
Appreciate
it's
you,
great to
Ed.
see you, buddy.
Thank you, Ed.
All
Thank you
right.
so
Have a
much.
great day. Take
You
care.
too.